Just do it. When in doubt, just do it. Check, check. All righty. Are we here? I don't know if it's working. Check, check. Check, check, check. I think so. Okay. We're gonna run it like it is. I wish it was a little louder though.
Are we foggy? Are we blurry?
A little bit, yeah. Here, sit back. There we go.
Get that thing into focus.
Now we're in focus. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and just dive right in. This is gonna be a long one, but I'm gonna try to talk quick so we can get through it all rather quickly. I sure hope this is working. I'm gonna double check.
Off and check.
No, I'm going to try to join the live. What's our channel name? The Crawfords.
I think we need to start this over.
No way. We're going to roll with it.
Okay.
Fast forward if you don't like it.
Okay.
It's fine.
Fast forward to minute 2.
Yeah.
We're at minute 1 right now.
How come it's not showing up, bro? I just need a channel. It's _Crawfords. Bruh.
You need to
What is happening?
Are we not live?
I think we are live, but I can't even find our channel. Is that the at the Crawfords? That's it. At the Crawfords. Why are y'all doing me like this?
At the Crawfords.
YouTube.
Where I waited for something.
Keep just fast forwarding. Keep fast forwarding. Keep fast forwarding. Keep fast forwarding. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Found it. Okay, it's working. Sorry. All right, we're here. Okay, locked in. That was only a minute. We're good.
A minute 45.
40 seconds. All right, we're back. Stop. Everybody stop. Stop fast forwarding. Okay. Big update. Today is February 8th, and I just got back from a trip to California. Trip probably isn't the best word to describe what went down, but trip is I was on a flight. So basically on last Tuesday afternoon, I flew out to California to be with my boss. My boss' name is Michael. He lives in Orange County, California, and he was flying me out to do a little bit of like a work in person session because we work remotely. But also it was for us to go to a conference in Rancho Cucamonga, California. Rancho Cucamonga. I don't know if it's ma or go. Anyway, a church planting network was hosting a conference, and we were going basically to build relationships, to network with pastors, and potentially be able to provide services for potential churches and potential clients. So so Michael flew me, Carson, Michael, Jordan, and Blake. So there's 5 of us going to this conference. So anyway, the first 2 days of the trip were great. Got to hang with Michael, Carson, some of our team. And then on Thursday, what'd you say?
You went to the conference.
And then on Thursday, I went to the conference. Okay. So let me paint a little bit of context of why this conference is kind of unique. Number one, 2 of my good friends, mentors, advisors, consultants, coaches, 2 of them were there teaching at this conference. So Wade Joy and Sweb Web, Swebby Webby, Sweb.fyi. Anyway, I knew they were going to be there, and so it was great to go see them. We have a relationship with them as a business at Black Fox, so it was great. Let's go see them and potentially network, and we could draft off some of their influence potentially, whatever.
Yeah, one of the things you said before you left was like, I'm going to go get to see my friends.
Yeah, legit. It was just like, this is going to be great. I'm going to see my friends and in person. It'd be great. So, like 2 days before we go to the conference, I realized there's actually going to be more people that I know that are coming. Ryan Strarup, he's a fellow church planter in Utah. And then I found out that Nick Pulley, who also just planted a church in Utah, both of which are in the Steadfast Way with me, which is Wade Joy's leadership coaching group. And so those guys are going to be there. So I was like, oh, this is actually going to be really cool because I'm going to get to hang with more people than I thought. Got great relationships, connections, so on and so forth. So we're going to see some friends, going to sell, going to network, going to build, our clientele. Show up on Wednesday, and it's like it feels a little bit of like a reunion. A lot of us, actually, all of us worked at Elevation in some capacity, And so it was good for us to just like hang, chat, catch up. It was great. And then come to find out, two other guys that I also knew showed up as well. Dustin Stradley, who I haven't seen in years. And then Greg Bosch, all of us again on staff at Elevation. Felt like a little mini reunion. And so it was good to hang out with them, good to see them. And so we sat in some sessions, went to some breakouts. And then after one of the main sessions on Thursday, Sweb and I are talking, and he introduces me to Mark Neal. Mark is the, guess like this COO, chief operating guy for Aspire for the entire network. He kind of is hosting the event. And so Sweb introduces me. We have a little small conversation, and then he asks if I'm invited to the private or pastoral lead pastor donor event after the normal conference is done. Sweb said I wasn't, but he would send me an invite. So I got invited to go at the end of that evening to this networking event, which is really important because that really opened the door to something really profound that took place. But we're not going to get to there just yet. So I get invited, meet Mark, wonderful people, it was amazing. Now, mind you, we're not in any church planting network. We applied for one, and very quickly throughout the journey, we realized we're not a fit for them. They're not a fit for us. And so we have since parted ways, and I've kind of just been like, we're not really going to go through, a network. We're just kind of leverage our relationships and just do what we know to do. So, but meeting Mark was great because it's like, oh, okay, I'm starting to, get a good feel for what this network is. And granted, I'm there to sell, but it also makes sense with our ministry that I would be able to learn something and, build some connections. So, so I get that invite, and then we go to lunch, and I get to meet Nick Pulley. Nick is amazing. I've been on weekly calls with him for a week and a half. Sorry, not for a week and a half, a year and a half. And we've never met in person. So finally got to meet him, and just what he is building, what the Lord is doing through his ministry, him and his wife, Sogol, is unbelievable. It's incredible. They're, only a couple years old, running about 600, 700 people on a weekend, blowing up. Their buildings their parking lot's not big enough. It's just awesome. So got to really chat with him, connect with him, and yeah, wonderful people. And he is connected to this network and knows a lot of these people. And so he was able to, introduce me to some other pastors, build some other connections. It was amazing. So the conference comes to a close, day one, and then I ride with Nick and Sogol to the this kind of pastoral pastors dinner. And so I show up. None of my people are there. So Sweb's not there, Ryan, Greg. I'm there with Nick, and start having conversations, meeting and greeting. And while I'm heading to grab some like chips and dip, this Hispanic man comes up to me and is like, "Hey man, how's it going? And how are you?" And we have a little bit of a small talk. And then he was kind of pushing to, hear my story, where am I from? What am I building? What am I doing? And so right in the middle of me about to tell him, which he seemed pretty adamant he wanted to hear, they were kind of gathering us all together for, some announcements, a little bit of prayer, and a little bit of vision casting for the meeting. So our conversation broke at that point. My friends, the Elevation guys, came up, and so I started talking with them. And so that conversation kind of just split off, which is important. And so they, have their vision casting moment, had some good conversations, pray for the food. We have dinner. I go and sit with some guys, have some more conversations. And then I make my way out back on the porch because one of the pastors I was connecting with, who's friends with my brother-in-law, that's a whole nother story in itself, wanted to hear kind of like our journey of how we got to New Orleans and what we're doing. So we go and sit outside and we start talking, and Dustin comes up, and I'm telling my story of how, we got to New Orleans and our journey from Stillwater and our experience in Charlotte and everything in between. And while I'm in the middle of kind of the climax of the story of us coming back, that Hispanic gentleman comes back around and says, "Hey, I've been looking for you. I want to hear your story." And I was like, "Absolutely." So I was like, "I'm actually in the middle of sharing it right now." And so he sits down, I catch him up, tell him about everything that has been going on and what we endured and how we're back. And at that point, Caleb and Dustin, the other two guys who were in the circle, leave, and it's just me and this gentleman. And so at that point, I introduced myself and said, "I'm Zach." And he goes, "Hi, I'm Mauricio." And he goes, "I'm a part of Elevate Church." And then it starts to click. let me rewind a little bit why this is important, because Mauricio is Nick Pulley's pastor. So Nick and Sogol actually planted their church out of the church that they were connected to. They completely planted them, supported them relationally, resourcefully. And in my year and a half calls with Nick, he would always talk about how much he loved his pastor, how he much loved to serve him, and how they've been incredibly supportive throughout this kind of church planting journey. So the moment I made the connection that I was talking to Nick's pastor, I knew that this man deserved honor. Not that normal people don't deserve honor, but I realized that this was a special man of God who was really adamant about building the kingdom, and somebody that I wanted to show an amount of his due amount of respect. So as soon as I make those connections, like, oh my gosh, you're Nick's pastor, I shake his hand, such an honor to meet you. And I could tell that the Lord had been speaking to him about me. It seemed like there was something he wanted to get off his chest, that the Lord maybe had a word for me. I didn't realize it in the chip line. I honestly didn't give the attention it deserved. Yeah, I'm like, I'm just trying to get chips, and like, I'm not into the small talk right now, which is so silly and foolish of me because I would have missed out on an opportunity.
That's like food in the Bible. It's everywhere.
Just
what's up, guys? Just
food, man. Gotta fast.
Anyways.
So we have this interaction. I introduce myself. I, tell him I do know who he is. I've heard great things about him. And then all of a sudden, he just and this man is very unassuming, very humble. There's nothing flashy or spectacular about him. Very ordinary looking gentleman. But when he spoke to me, it was just imprinting on my soul that what he was saying was coming from God. And so he starts by saying, because I told him about how we had spent 5 years in Stillwater, kind of in obscurity, like, where are we going? What are we doing, Lord? Why did you have us leave Charlotte if we're just going to end up in Oklahoma? How do I make sense of New Orleans? And he said, man, you went through that season so that you could learn how to depend on God and so that he could learn to trust you. And that was pivotal, because it definitely felt like for maybe the first time someone could truly see what that season entailed. And there was empathy and compassion, but also faith. And we know that season wasn't wasted. We know what we endured, but it finally felt for the first time, at least for me, that someone really had empathy and compassion and could see how it had an immense amount of purpose. And so he started there, and then he starts just to go, and he goes, he said, I can see your services. There's thousands there. And he said, in your services, there are people that are being delivered from spirits, that people that have been plagued and turmoiled and have been deceived are going to be freed in your service. I can see you delivering through the power of the blood. I can see you delivering people from captivity. And I was just like, man, this is wild. Because I'm like, I know who you are. I know the fruit of your life. And I can tell that I just sense that the Lord is speaking to me through you. And then he starts to say, there are witches and warlocks who already know you exist. They know that you're in the area, and they know your name and your wife's name. He said, you need to be aware. And he's very specific. He goes, this is not pressure. You have nothing to fear. The Lord is with you. He said, but just to be aware that these are the things that you're going to come up against. The Lord is before you. You're not going to have to force this. You're not going to have to like grind yourself into, doing his work. Those opportunities, you're going to walk into them with power and strength and a sound mind. And then he said, he said, very influential people. He said the most influential people, because I just keep seeing influential people, insanely influential people being freed and delivered, not knowing that they are oppressed, not knowing that they have spirits residing in their soul. They're going to be freed naively by you, and they're going to be great friends, and they're going to be the reason they're going to help increase your reach and increase the message of the gospel going forth and your community growing in this city. And man, when he started to speak like that just like less about the influence and the impact, but just to know that there are mighty things coming, that the Lord is speaking through people to get a message of encouragement, a message of strength, a message of faith, a message of boldness to us in this season is just, it's incredible. And so he spoke some more things and some more details, but honestly, it was God choreographing the whole thing. The fact that I would meet Sweb and the team, and that he would introduce me to Mark, and Mark would invite me to the pastor's outing. And then I get to the pastor's outing and I have this conversation with Mauricio, who is connected to Nick Pulley, who I'm already in a group with Wade Joy in the Steadfast Way. And it's like, the Lord got me into that moment so that Mauricio could speak life and faith over us. And that's the first prophetic word we've ever gotten outside of the original, like, I see you pastoring a church in a city you're uncomfortable with people you're uncomfortable with. But it is pretty remarkable what took place. So then fast forward, not fast forward. I'm in the middle of a conversation with Mauricio. He's prophesying over me. And then Mark Neal comes and interrupts, and, comes and thanks me, gives me, thanks me for coming, and asks if I had been introduced to Chris Hall. And I said, no, I haven't. He said, Chris Hall is our church planters director. He's directing, our church plants. You need to meet him. Is it okay if I, interrupt for a minute? I was like, absolutely. So he introduces me to Chris. Chris and I get connected. And he's like, hey, we're going to go, we'll link up tomorrow, because it's a 2-day conference, Thursday and Friday. This is Thursday night. And so, I introduce Chris, I get his info, and then me and Mauricio finish. We have an incredible time of prayer, and then I go home, sleep. So day one is just a blur. I meet some of the most amazing people. I feel like I'm with a tribe that is, locked in, kindred spirits with me. Sorry, bud, go to sleep. You need to be asleep in your bed right now. Thank you. Kids, bro.
He's not in PJs anymore. He's fully dressed.
What in the world? Okay, so day 2, we show up, more sessions, more connections with guys, pitching our services, building relationships with pastors. I sit in Sweb's breakout session. It was amazing. Incredible talk on leadership and exposure and delegation and empowerment. It was amazing. And then we break out and we're going to lunch, and Chris Hall texts me and says, hey, can you meet up? I said, absolutely. I was actually heading towards the food trucks and I found him. And we go and sit by the little coffee shop area, me, his wife, Sierra, and then another gentleman named Damien. We all 4 go together, and basically we have a full conversation of what it would look like for me to become a potential church planter within their network. So they were talking about their financial support, their relational support, their family support, how they're all about healthy pastors and healthy leaders and multiplication and leadership development and all the things that resonate with who we are. They're not, their boundaries and range for church expression are broad. So they have conservative churches, they have a little more charismatic churches. They really have a spectrum of what types of expressions are connected to their family. But they're all about the soul and the health of the leader and their family, and which resonates with me in a massive way. And so we haven't really made a decision yet on whether or not we're going to apply. I think we will. But that just means everything in our life the next few months are about to radically accelerate. So in the next 2 weeks, I'll be in Austin for a client for a church out there. And then in 2 weeks after that, she'll be in Florida for Jesus Images Women's Conference. I'll be there meeting with a client. And then the end of that week, they're having their in-person assessment in California. And so we're trying to figure out, do we go now? Do we wait? I think the next one's in October. How much, what does this look like? And so be in prayer for us about that. That's a big piece of the puzzle, to have that support, to feel like I can contribute at that layer. Our dream, I don't know if it's our dream, but I would just say this. I sense that there are I may have said this before. I sense that there are 3 churches in 3 metropolitan areas that the Lord wants me to build and plant. And so to be in connection with a network like that could help bolster and resource and expedite things in order for those things to start to take place and to take shape. So all that said, it's wild to see how the Lord got me there because of my profession and my occupation, but he got messages and connections and relationships to me through that. And it was remarkable. It was incredible. So much more happened. Met so many amazing people. Heard some of the most fascinating stories about what God is doing in cities all across America. But left just incredibly encouraged by what's to come. And so that happened, right? So that's part one. Part two is coming up. And I get home, I fly in last night, and Naomi and I have a conversation where she talks to our landlord, Abrika, who's this wonderful lady, God fearing woman. She's in her 80s, and she's our neighbor. We share a wall with her, but she also owns this home. And basically, from like the third week that we moved here, she has been prophesying and speaking faith that we're going to buy this house from her. So there's been a lot of back and forth with, our lease is coming up in a couple weeks. She's ready to move because she can't make it up the stairs anymore. There's lots of moving pieces. She says she might even already have a buyer. So we're trying to like get a 5-year lease. We're trying to get, that solidified. We're also trying, like, there's just a lot of moving pieces with our living situation right now. And so Naomi told me that she has sold the house. That's basically what she told me. She goes, she has a buyer. She sold the house. That's what she told me. And she'll be out in like 2 months, and they're going to, move slow, but they have a buyer. They're ready to go. They're out, which probably years ago would have sent me through the roof because we haven't inked our 5-year lease. That would mean we have just literally, like, we're now at the mercy of this new buyer whom we don't know. They're not Christians. Like, that's all we know is they're in their 50s and they don't love Jesus. So
that's all we know.
I typically would have gone, like, I would have unraveled with anger, with anxiousness, with worry, with fear, with doubt. But I was like, the Lord's going to take care of us. Like, we're good. But we started to have conversations, and we were like, well, let's just say it hasn't sold. I doubt that it's actually inked. I doubt there's actually a contract signed. There's no way. What would it look like if we really started to get serious about buying this house? And so we had a conversation with her dad over Christmas. Excuse me.
You good?
Yeah. Over Christmas about what that could look like, because we could still live in this spot, rent out the other one. That could help offset some space. So, like, there's ways that this could really work. And so we were like, okay, well, maybe we need to start getting serious about it and give him a call and start seeing numbers and what's the next best steps for us. So that's been on our mind. And then the second thing that's been on our mind is we have our gathering on Tuesday. So we've invited people, couples, friends, people we've met to come and do king cake tasting at our house on Tuesday night. And so Naomi's been crushing it, preparing for that with all the things. And so she's been completely dominating that, and we've been working together on getting the house prepped for that on Tuesday. We've completely remodeled and reorganized, refreshed our downstairs with new furniture. Some friends have helped us get good eyesight on that. But this morning we were out back, and our backyard is incredible. The problem is it's not.
We have a backyard.
And we have a backyard, especially in this city, is very rare.
It's rare.
But it's not blocked off. So you have access to the front of the house with the back. It's not sealed with any kind of gate or fence.
Right.
And so we had the idea today. I was like, man, the guy who did our dishwasher and installed it was fantastic. Let's give him a call and see what he would quote for sealing off this backyard. But we need to talk to Abrika. We need to talk to her where she's at in the selling process. Because if she has already sold the house, then why would we invest money into sealing off the backyard? It's a whole thing, right? You guys get it. So that got us really excited, because then when we have these gatherings, kids can go and play out back. We can optimize the backyard to be more child friendly. And then it just lengthens the space of what's available to us, because right now it's not conducive for children to go back there and play. So, then
at least not freely.
So then, Abrika comes over today, and we have this conversation. And I said, hey, have you sold the house? She goes, I haven't sold the house. I have buyers. She goes, I'm selling this house to you. I believe in faith. You're going to get the money and you're going to buy this house from me. So I'm like, praise God that she hasn't sold the house. We're good to go. Number two
Yeah, that was
was,
good news.
we need to sign that 5-year lease with all the addendums and securities that you said you would promise us. And she said, great, let's do it. And then thirdly, I brought up, what did it look like for us to seal off the backyard? And she was like, your game, go for it. So, we're excited. Life is going really fast right now. There's a lot of moving pieces in our life. The conference was unbelievable, more than I could have ever imagined. I had a sense that something was going to strike. I didn't realize it was going to be this powerful. And there's more stories I could tell. I wanted to hit the kind of the high points, but we've got a prophetic word. We probably have a great partner in Aspire Network. And I got to rekindle some amazing relationships with people that really believe in what God is doing here in New Orleans. And so what we need prayer and we need resources. So pray for us, pray for if you or anyone is a giver and wants to bless a family who's trying to do kingdom work in the darkest city in America. Give them my information, send them this newsletter, share this video with them, let them know that God is stirring something powerful here. I can hear it outside. There's 100,000 people out in our backyard right now celebrating Mardi Gras. And so the harvest is plentiful. The laborers are few. And so we're laborers here laboring. We're missionaries on mission, but we need support. We need some help on creating an environment where we can really serve and minister to people.
Yeah, you called it the harvest and the hub.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So we had the harvest in our backyard, but we got to optimize this as a hub.
Yeah.
And right now, childcare is the big one. We have a lot of young families who have drawn themselves to us. We need something for their children.
Yes.
Blocking off that backyard is going to be massive. Peace of mind and fortify what's happening back there. And so, we're looking for someone to be able to sponsor that project. And then we need prayer for whatever's to come for our gathering on Tuesday. It's going to be wild and it's going to be beautiful and amazing. So, anything else you want to hit? Any more updates?
No, I think you covered everything.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
It's incredible.
It's beautiful.
It's wild.
This came to mind while you were talking. It was a while ago when, there are just a lot of people who have been giving advice of like, you need to get on social media and you need to sell yourself and you need to promote yourself. And you've always been like, I don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. I don't feel right about that. And to see you wait on the Lord and then him just open doors.
It's wild.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
It's wild.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
So
it's incredible.
We need to buy this house. We need a new car and we need to fence off our backyard. And then obviously we're not waiting to gather with people
right
before that. But
gathering with people helps us see where the holes are, I guess.
Yeah.
And how to make it more functional and more, because there is a part of it. Like we did meet for Thanksgiving with a few families and their kids came and me and my kids and the moms and their kids. It was like, we didn't have a space set up. So anyways, all that to say, it's showing where we need to patch the holes and
absolutely.
Yeah. I'm excited for Tuesday night though.
I am too. So stay updated. I'm sure we'll get another one of these next week to let you know how Tuesday goes. But that's what's up with us. So stay tuned. Peace and blessings. And we'll hit you very soon. You good? Love y'all.
Do it the new way.
Gang. Peace, y'all.
Bye.